Hey everybody, Steve Billman here. Thanks for joining me. And this is the start of my new series called Getting to Know the Neck. So basically in this series, like I said in the opening video, we're going to get to know the different notes in the different positions of the instrument on all the strings, okay? And it's probably going to be 3 or 4 videos, but we're going to go basically from frets 1 to 4, then 5 to 9, and then 10 to 13. And I might add videos higher, but basically, if we get those notes, we're doing pretty well. Okay. So in this first video, we're going to deal with just the notes in what we would call open position, using the open strings and everything up to the 4th fret. Now remember, or I should say, that we're only going to deal with natural notes in the first few videos. So we're not going to deal with any sharps or flats, only the natural notes of the scale, okay? And one thing I want to mention is we're going to use it in 2 different ways, this series. The first way is obviously what I said, getting to know the notes on the neck. So we're going to learn each one of the note names and where it is on physically on what fret and what string those notes are. Okay, that's the first thing, and then I'll explain why we're doing that later on. And then the second thing is we're going to use these as technique exercises. Okay, to build our speed, our endurance, also to be able to play in a clean way. We want to make sure that each note is sounding good and that it's right in time, and that it's accurate. So those are 2 of the elements that we're going to cover. So for this first video, again, we're going to deal with open strings and then the natural notes from the 1st fret to the 4th fret. Okay. If if you're at a very beginning level, I have a series, the beginning guitar series, which I would recommend you going back to and maybe watching those videos before you start this one, because that'll go through the names of the strings, the open strings, and just some of the basic stuff you probably want to know before you watch these videos. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to deal with names of open strings or anything like that. I'm just going to go through each one of the notes on the frets. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So if I start with my open E string, okay, the 1st fret of my E string, which remember is our 6th string, my 1st finger is going to play the 1st fret, and that's going to give me an F. Now remember the musical alphabet, A to G, right? And then when we get to G, then we start over at A. So in this case, we're not starting on E, or A, we're starting on E. But we're still following the musical alphabet pattern because we're just going up in a scale way. And so we're going higher. So if you think of the alphabet, if we start on E, the next note of the alphabet is going to be F, and so forth. Okay. And then when we get to G, that's the end of the alphabet, and we start in the next octave on A again. Okay. So going back to the 6th string, the E string, open E, 1st fret, 1st finger, F, and then G. And there's one other theory thing that I want to mention. In natural notes, there's always going to be a half step between E and F and B and C. It's built in, okay? So half steps are usually associated with like a sharp or a flat. But in this case, the natural notes, E to F and B and C, are always going to be a half step. And remember, for guitar, a half step is 1 fret, a whole step would be 2 frets, okay? So, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked, but these are important points, okay, to make. So let's go back again to the 6th string. I have open E, 1st finger, F, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, G, okay? So there are 3 notes on my 6th string, the E string, E, F, and G. The next note then is going to be the beginning of the alphabet, and after G becomes A. So my open string is A. Then on the second fret of my A string is B, so it's a whole step there. Then remember, between E and F and B and C is a half step. So next fret, half step would be C, okay? So again, on my A string, A, B, second fret, second finger, C, third fret, third finger. What's after C in the alphabet? D, that's right. So my open D string. Then whole step to E. Okay, so again, I'm just going up the alphabet. Then remember, between E and F and B and C, there is a half step. So third fret would be my F. Okay, so again, open D, D string, open D, E, second finger, and then F, third finger. What's after F in the alphabet? G. So my open G string. Okay, now, let me get there. So here's open G, and then a whole step. The end of G, we start the alphabet again. So my next note after, note after G is going to be A, right? And that's, hear how it's a higher pitch? This is A as well, but it's a lower pitch. So this is what we call, this note here is an octave higher than the lower note. It's 8 notes above it. Okay, so G, again, open G, A. Now, I can play for my next note the open B string, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the B on my 4th fret on the G string, okay? So that B here, the 4th fret of the G string, is the same B as my open B, okay? But in this case, I'm going to play it what we call closed or fingered, just because of the technique part of it. I want to stretch for that note, okay? So again, the G string, G, 2nd fret, A, 4th fret, B, okay? Then what's after B in the alphabet? C. So my first finger on the B string, C. My next note will be D, my 3rd finger, okay, on the 3rd fret. Now I'm not going to stretch for the E because that's the 5th fret and that's kind of far. So again, after D, what's the next letter? It's E. So my open E string, my 1st string. Remember, there's a half step between E and F, so the 1st fret then is F, and then whole step to G. And there we go. That's the 3rd fret. Okay? So those are the notes on the first 4 frets of the guitar. Okay? Now again, natural notes, not chromatic notes. Now, the hardest part is going down when we name them, but you should practice naming the notes going up and coming down. So here's our G. Below that again, F. Then open E. Then I go to the 3rd fret of the B string is D. 1st fret of the B string is C. Now again, you could play open B, but I want you to play it closed. So we're going to go to the 4th fret. Sorry about that, my finger got a little caught. So C, and then 4th fret of the G string, okay, is B. Then our 2nd finger, A, and then open G. Then I go to the D string. We have F on the 3rd fret, E on the 2nd fret, and open D. Again, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string produces C. Then half step below that, 2nd finger is B, open A string. Then we have 3rd fret of E is G. Sorry, 3rd fret of the E string. I don't want that to be confusing. So G, then 1st finger on F, and then the 6th string open. Okay? So again, you want to practice slowly like I did without a click, saying the notes going up and then saying the notes going back. And do that consistently, and before long you'll have those notes memorized, okay? So if we look at it on the lowest string, we have 3 notes, E, F, and G, right? And then on the A string we have 3 notes, A, B, and C. The D string, 3 notes, D, E, F. The G string, 3 notes, G, A, B. And then on the B string, because we're not playing the B open, we only have 2 notes, C, D. And And then on the first string, the high string, we have E, F, and G, which are 3 notes. Okay. So the way it's set right now, the only string that doesn't have 3 notes is the B string. It's C and D. Okay. All right. So there's an example of the first part of it. Practicing saying the notes, making sure that you're correlating what the note is with where it is on your fingerboard. Okay. That's really important. So I would spend time doing that first. Then the next thing we're going to do, we'll do right now, is we're going to play this as a technique exercise. Now, I'm going to do it as half notes, which, for most people that have played a little bit probably isn't too hard. But if it's new to you, this will be hard. For those that maybe this is too easy for, remember, you can do this in quarter notes, you can do this in eighth notes, in 16th notes, in triplets, and you can do it at faster tempos. So do it at 160 or 200. Try to play 16th notes, but always play it at a tempo where you're not sacrificing the technique part of it. You don't want to practice something sloppy. You want to make sure that you're playing it clean. Then you can up the metronome to a faster tempo, but never sacrifice the cleanliness of something you're playing with for the tempo because you want to play it fast. Okay. All right. So all I'm going to do, and this will be quick. I'm not going to use a click. I'm just going to snap the quarter notes. Okay. We're going to play half notes on each one of these notes. I'm going to play it up, and then I'm going to play it back. Okay. And then that'll be it. All right. So let's try that together. I'll try not to do it too fast, but I don't want to do it too slow either. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. So half notes. Here we go. E, 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2. A, B, B. C, open D, D, E, E. F, open G. A, B, C, 2, 3, 4, open E, 1, 2, 3, and then G, whole note, 1, 2, 3. Now go back down, 4, G, F, E, D, C, 2, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. 2, 3, 4. All right, so now you can see that I said the notes as I was playing it. For those that are just starting, don't worry about that. Don't do that. Just play the notes. Just play the notes with a click. And again, you can put on whatever tempo is good for you and try to get it really clean. I didn't play it as clean as I would have liked to, but again, the idea is that we're working to get better technique. Okay. So for those that are just starting, don't say the notes immediately while you're doing this. Just try to do it again as a technique exercise, playing the notes correctly with the right fingerings, making sure the notes are in time and that they sound good and they're clean. If you're maybe a little bit farther along, then you want to start practicing it at faster tempos and different note values with the click, saying the notes. Because at that point, then it's really going to be cemented in there that you know what these notes are, okay? But don't do that at first. Only say the notes when the time is looser, okay? So again, this as a technique exercise, if you're more intermediate, maybe try quarter notes or eighth notes at 160 beats per minute. And again, focus on getting it clean, making sure that your picking is good and making sure that the notes are sounding good and there's no buzzes, or sort of mishaps, okay? All All right, so there you go. So you have two assignments. The first assignment, memorize the notes from the open string to the fourth fret. And the second one is practice this exercise as a technique exercise. Okay, again, focusing on building your dexterity, building your accuracy, building the cleanliness of how you play. You're picking your right hand and your finger work, making sure that all those things are coming together in a way that's going to make your playing fluid, because that's basically what we want to do. We want it to be fluid. All right? Okay, you guys, I hope that helped. And good luck with it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. All right? So God bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye.